Hello, everyone, and welcome to our mid 20s podcast where the two hosts that are in their mid 20s discuss the life around them. Okay, so I'm Alex, and this is. Go ahead, Edgar.
Oh, I'm this Edgar. I zoned out for
uh,
a second there.
yeah, yeah. It's an early morning. It's what 8 a.m. Or, I mean, yeah, it's 8 a.m. It's like,
It's too
damn.
early.
Yeah, it's too early, but we got to get this out so we can get it out to you guys and get our opinions out at least on the movie. On as you guys know, our main topic is reviewing Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. But before we get to that, we'll just uh, we'll discuss what we've been up to this past week. Edgar, what have you been up to?
Mm, I mean, nothing much. Just same as usual. Applied a few jobs, a few interviews. Nothing too much.
Mm.
But same old, same old. What about you? How's
um.
your break? You were in spring break, right?
Oh yeah. I was on spring break. It was fun. I took 5 days off, and then I came back to do some work here at the school at UC Merced, and it was nice. So it was really nice. I mean, the break was really nice. I felt really refreshing, and for some reason that week felt like a month. I don't know why, but it really felt like I was away from school for such a long time. It was pretty awesome.
That's good.
Yeah.
Sounds like you had a fun time.
Yeah, I got my taxes done. I just got my tax return
Oh yeah, I forgot
today and
about the
yesterday.
tax season.
Yeah.
The deadline is coming up. I think
April 15th, I think.
something like
I,
that.
Something like that. Yeah. So people get your taxes done. You don't want to get audited. You don't want to get in trouble. You don't want to end up like Wesley Snipes. um. Okay. So let's get into this movie, and just to give like a quick plot summary on the movie. So we start off the movie basically the movie is about how the world is reacting to the appearance of Superman, someone that's so powerful and so great that they can basically just uh, destroy the world if they wanted to. Someone that powerful that is not answering questions to anyone. He's not answering to the government. He's not answering to anyone. He basically does whatever he wants, and because of that, there's this debate going on in the movie, and for like the first hour of the movie, maybe it's like a court thriller, like a political thriller, and then they they literally blow that idea up, and then it switches into really Batman having this vendetta against him, and well, before that. Before that, the blowing up, Batman had this vendetta against Superman because he in Metropolis, Bruce Wayne has this building. It gets blown up, and a lot of people die. And at the same time, he's up close and personal to the whole situation in Metropolis when Zod and Superman are fighting, and because of that, he thinks Superman's a danger and he wants to take him out. And in the second hour of the movie, it kind of deals with that, and there's some dream sequences in there, and they end up fighting about after like 2 hours of the movie. I think after 2 hours, they Batman and Superman actually fight, and they don't fight because it's because the way I'm describing it so far as Batman having this vendetta and Superman trying to kind of prove that he's not this bad guy. It really turns out that Lex Luthor in all of this somehow knows that Batman is Bruce Wayne and that Superman is Clark Kent, and he kidnaps Lois Lane. He kidnaps Martha Kent, and he throws Lois Lane off a building to get Superman's attention. And then he tells Superman, "Hey, I have your mother. You better go. You better go kill Batman in 30 minutes, or she will die." And Superman, so he goes to confront Batman, and essentially tries to talk to Batman at first. That doesn't really work out, and then they end up fighting, and they have, and because and because Batman and Superman's mothers both have the same name, Martha. They kind of stop fighting, and then they become friends, and then they go to they go to help. They go to Batman goes to save Martha Kent, and Superman goes to confront Lex Luthor, who through all this is going on, he gets Zod's body, puts it in the Genesis chamber of the spaceship where Superman came, or where Superman found that one in Antarctica. I think it's that same one. And with his own blood, his own DNA, he creates Doomsday, and then everybody starts fighting. And by the end of it, Superman uh, is able to defeat Doomsday, but at the same time, they both end up killing each other. And then they have two burials, one for Clark Kent and one for Superman. And at the end of the movie, the dirt that's on Superman's grave starts rising, which kind of gives you the hint that he's really not dead. But anyways, that's basically the movie. I skipped a lot of stuff, but that's essentially what the movie's about. And so, Edgar, how did you feel about the movie?
Well, I feel like I should like them more, but after I finished it, I was like kind of impressed, but not impressed. I was just like, it was okay. There were a few parts that kind of bugged me. Like for instance, Amy Adams is played. Amy Adams was. She just annoyed me for the whole movie though. When I saw Man of Steel, I
Mhm.
loved her. She was great, but in this one, I feel like she was just there to be annoying.
You
Like,
know, that's funny because I actually thought she was the best thing about the movie. Well, I thought
what
she was the best character. She was the best actor.
did
That
you
was
know who
my.
else? I mean, like, I don't know. I just like her lines were kind of like not not. I guess you can call it important, but not that much. I mean, the her main big roles were her trying to figure out the whole North African rebels that got killed by some unknown contractors, and then basically they use her for that to instigate Superman as them working with the rebels, and then as a way for Lex Luthor to get Superman. So I feel like her role wasn't really that big in the movie. She was just there to be the damsel in distress, and
Yeah,
I didn't like that. I didn't like that she didn't have too much of a role. She was just kind of like the damsel in distress. It was kind of annoying me. And then at the end, throwing the weapon into the lake, into the pool of water. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, why would you do that right now?" Like,
actually, I thought that was kind of smart because she was like, "Well, I don't want him to go crazy again and try to kill my boyfriend, so I'm gonna
yeah,
throw it in the
I mean,
lake." Because she didn't know
it's
Doomsday was there, right? She
yeah.
didn't
Well,
know.
she didn't know that, but it's like, well, I mean, that's not gonna do anything. Like,
But
that's just gonna slow him down for like what a minute or two until he digs it out.
yeah, but the thing is, how did she know that the spear was gonna hurt Doomsday? Because
No,
I don't
no. I'm not saying that she knew that about Doomsday. She was just doing that to protect Superman from Batman.
no. Yeah, I know. But remember how she throws it in, and then later she's like, "Holy shit, I need to go get it back." So she jumps
Well,
in, right, to get
yeah,
it. But
yeah, because
I'm asking, like, how did she know that it was gonna hurt him? Because from when everything was going on, when Doomsday appeared to the point where they got to back to where Batman and Superman were first fighting, everything in between, she was still at that first location, right, where Batman and Superman fought. I don't think she ever like got in front of a TV, or I don't know if she I don't think she knew who Doomsday was. You know, she didn't know he was actually like General Zod, or like kind of like a clone of General Zod and Lex Luthor. Did she know? I don't remember that part.
I kind of want to say someone mentioned about the weapon and she was doing something about it.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Wow.
I don't remember. Yeah, that you mentioned. I don't remember too far about it, but I do remember someone mentioned something about the weapon. But I could be wrong. I could maybe she just figured it out on her own when she figured out that the Superman wasn't immune to it. But I don't know. That was the part that just kind of like bugged me out. Like they're gonna play this scene through it. Like I know they're gonna like I knew when they threw that into the what I was like, oh, they're gonna play this scene through where she's gonna jump into it, try to get it, kind of get stuck into it, and then Superman's gonna go find her. And I didn't like the scene at all. I was just like, why bother?
Yeah.
I did love Wonder Woman though. her role was
Oh,
pretty.
I thought she was super attractive for one. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I think
she
the actress
was.
is super attractive anyways, but I think in that part she was I don't know, they made her look like really attractive, and I think in the suit she was really attractive. But besides that, I thought she was really cool. I thought she was really cool to have, but I don't think she was necessary for the movie. I think they literally shoot her into the plot, or into the
Well,
movie because she had no bearing onto the plot.
I feel like the whole reason they did that just to introduce a character for the Justice League movie that's coming out in 2017,
I
2018.
think I think they pushed it back to. It was supposed to come out 2017, but now they want to come out with the solo Batman movie in that year. So now they're gonna push it back to 2018.
Okay, yeah, because I know that's one of the main reasons why they did. Because because they had a whole scene that would introduce all the alpha men,
oh, oh yeah, the meta humans.
metahumans, yeah, and it had Flash, Wonder Woman, Green was it Green Lantern or was it Cyborg?
It was Cyborg,
Yeah, Cyborg and
Aquaman. His awkward
Aquaman.
his awkward stare into the camera.
Yeah, so like they I mean I kind of got why they did that with Wonder Woman. They were just trying to introduce her to the upcoming for the upcoming movie. It's the same thing they did with the Man of Steel with Batman, with the third Batman at the end. They hint that he wants to go to let's see what's the whole Man of Steel going on in Metropolis. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh no, I don't. I don't remember that at
Just
all.
towards the end, they make a big, like a small hint. I don't know.
Oh really?
They always do that with Batman. With the first Batman, after with the first Batman at the end, they also give a introduce the Joker. They said there's a new villain going around,
Oh
and
yeah.
they said yeah, and they did the same thing with this one. It's just a small
Well,
little hint at the end.
well, the thing is, the difference is between those two movies and this one is like they give like kind of hints at the end, which are like almost equivalent to like the after credit scenes.
Yeah, yeah,
But this one, it was like she was actually in the movie. She was
yeah. She was
actually acting throughout, but it didn't really make any sense to have her in the movie. You
yeah.
know,
I was expecting her to be more involved in it. Yeah. I kind of do agree. She just showed up out of nowhere.
yeah. I feel like if she's gonna be there, like give her a good reason to be there, because I think the only reason she was there was to try to find that picture that Lex Luthor had of her, you know,
Yeah,
the one
yeah.
that
That's
Batman shows her. She wanted to do was get that picture back, but I don't think she understood how digital worked, because once you upload something to once you make it digital, there's like infinite copies of it. So I don't know how she could get rid of that picture 100%, you know.
yeah.
So, or I don't know if she just wanted to find out how much he knew, but whatever the case, I think you had to have her a better reason, and and if you're gonna have her there, make her actually part of the movie. Just don't have her as an extra, because I don't think she's like, I don't think you should make her an extra. You know, she seems like a pretty big character.
Yeah, she just yeah, she had a few roles, and I guess the main point was that she was just showing her because she was super attractive. Because she was super
Yeah.
attractive. Like when she wasn't wearing her suit, she was attractive. But once her suit was on, I was like, God damn, I did not know she was that attractive.
Yeah, she is extremely attractive. Yeah. Oh, I was like, damn. But no, but she kicked ass too. I like the
Yeah,
fact that.
she was really her fighting scene was pretty pretty cool.
Yeah, I wish they would have made it so like I know she cuts off his arm, and when she gets hit, she just like she smiles at him and she's like enjoying it. She's really happy to be in the fight, you know, because she's a warrior, so she wants to fight. But I wish they would have made it so that she's just basically obliterating, Doomsday, like completely kicking his ass, and then and then like just show her off more, show her fighting skills a little more, because then
Yeah,
I don't know, that at the same time would give her kind of a point, more of a point than she had. I don't know. I thought that would have been cool. She just was just like chopping off limbs, and he was just regrowing them, and then like I think that would have been a cool thing to do.
yeah. She was. I mean, her fighting scenes were pretty good, but yeah, she just kind of showed up. I'm nowhere. I guess they were trying to introduce the character, but it kind of like her storyline didn't. She was just doing her own thing, and then she was about out of nowhere. I feel like
Yeah,
they were gonna play a little bit more with her and Batman, kind of like make a little bit
like
I guess
a
more
romance.
Yeah, small romance. Since he
I wish they
always,
would have done that, because then that again, that gives her more of a point to be there. Like I wish they would have disguised her as one of these girls, girls he's trying to, like, you know, basically bang. Yeah, I don't know how to
yeah,
better say it. But and then it turns out she ends up being Wonder Woman. That would have been cooler, because in this world, so in the Dark Knight trilogy,
hmm
that Batman was pretty much just into one girl, and I don't think they didn't ever showed him trying to, like, get with any girl or even, like, bang another girl. Well, in this one, there's actually a scene where he wakes up
yeah, yeah.
from a dream sequence, where he wakes up from a dream, and there's a girl laying in bed with him. So it would have been cool to have him trying to at least get with her, or and then she's trying to play hard to get, and then at the end she just turns out to be Wonder Woman. That would have been cool, because they would have been kind of like, it would have set
More
up
connection.
yeah, it would have set up a relationship. It would have set up how she's not just a pretty face. She's actually smart, because she kind of infiltrated Batman at the same time, like playing hard to get, and she was able to keep her disguise from the world's greatest detective. That
Yeah,
would have
for
been
sure.
cool.
That would have been great because that way her whole her trying to infiltrate and trying to get that picture was would have been made more sense since it was really
Yeah,
good. Yeah, but I
yeah,
mean, she
but
was a great character. Like her last like 20 minutes when she was there, she was pretty good.
yeah.
Um,
What'd you think of Batman?
I actually did like him. He was, I mean, people say a lot of bad stuff about Ben Affleck being Batman, but I enjoy him though. He played that character really well.
I thought he was okay. For one of the reasons I thought he was okay was, like, so I never really thought he was a great. Well, let's start off with this. I don't think he was the when I looked at him without the mask and him with the costume, he didn't look like Batman to me. He didn't feel like it, and and also I just thought his acting was okay. I thought Amy Adams was the best actor in the movie.
She might
Um,
have been, but she had the worst roles. I did not like the roles
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah, she
They could
did.
have done so much better with her. They just made her the dance on distress, and I was like, they kind of because they had two dances on distress. They had Superman's mom at the end, and
And
then they
Amy,
had her. So it's like they just no. I don't. They should have made her do something else, or figure out something else, or make it more valuable to this. I mean, she was valuable to the story, but make her some other cool scenes though.
yeah,
Where I don't know. I love her in Man of Steel though. She was great there,
she
even
was
though she
great
was
in
a
Man of Steel, and I thought she was great in this movie too. Like, she was still kind of like, that kind of like a reporter that's really ballsy. Like the beginning scene. Remember how she
yeah,
showed
yeah.
up to the
That's why I figured though she was gonna be more than just the more the Dance of Distress character because she was at the beginning she showed up to those rebels and she was doing her own stuff and she was pretty cool and then when she was doing her investigation part but then they kind of just like after like the first hour they kind of like cut her mostly and she's just stopped appearing. I don't know if you noticed that like after a little
yeah,
while she
yeah.
just
Did
didn't
you
show
notice
up.
a lot of the characters happen she began the movie, and then out of nowhere she just drops off for a long time, and then
Yeah,
Batman's in the movie, and then he drops out, and then it's like Superman, and then Superman drops out, and then
they were trying
yeah,
because they were trying to do so much stuff though.
yeah, it was so much stuff.
There
It
was so
was
much
like,
stuff trying to introduce and trying to do. I just I mean I love I did love the fight scene between Batman and Superman, but I kind of be a little longer though. It just like the whole movie is Batman versus Superman, and they had like 10 minutes fighting.
yeah, yeah,
It's like
yeah. I
that
I
was
listen
kind of a bit of annoying though,
I
because I
listened
feel
to a podcast that reviewed this movie too, and one of the things they said was the title was basically clickbait.
yeah
Like
it
they just
was
that's how people got into the movie theaters, is because, like, oh, we're gonna see Batman versus Superman, like a fight,
it
but
was
no.
yeah it was a clickbait. I mean the whole trailer is like they start with Lex Luthor saying this is gonna be like the gladiator match of the century. The two greatest gladiators are never gonna fight, and then fight 10 minutes. Batman kick his ass, about to kill him. They become friends. And it's like no, like I kind of saw the whole the whole movie, the whole through it, I kind of saw through Batman's point of view, and I really well, I guess sided with Batman the whole thing.
Actually, I didn't like his point of view
Really,
because
I
yeah,
was Batman's point of view the
because
entire time.
okay, so this brings me to why I really didn't like this Batman was because he wasn't really Batman, to be honest. I think if there's a formula that makes Batman upright, I don't think this Batman would make that formula. He's missing parts. First of all, Batman isn't using guns or killing people, like and if you're gonna describe him as that kind of Batman, then set it up,
Yeah, yeah.
show why he is like that. I mean, I
Let
know
me
they
start.
showed I
Let
know
me
they
start
had a
with
scene where he looked at the Batman at the Robin suit that said "Ha ha, jokes on you." Okay, you show me that, but and I know what that's kind of alluding to. It's alluding to Under the Hood, or when basically when Joker
that's when
kills
Joker
Robin.
kills
Yeah,
Robin though. Yeah.
yeah, but no, but only comic fans or only people that know the character Batman and know that, right? They don't know that they don't they can I can see people assuming to that, like, okay, Joker killed him, but I mean, just telling the audience something and showing the audience something is two different things. And I felt like they should have show us a clip, because in the comics, the way Joker kills Robin was or Jason Todd was he basically beat him with the freaking crowbar. You can't show us a quick clip of him just beating him when he's looking at that and he has a flashback of Joker just beating the crap out of him and him and Joker laughing. That would have been awesome, because that would have showed, like, oh shit, I know why he's fucking crazy, because like the kid he trained and was probably like a son to him got murdered, so that would make sense, but that's not how they portrayed it. And then on top of which, in that kind of storyline where Robin dies or when Joker kills him, Robin comes back, he gets resurrected essentially, and he even asked Batman, like, why don't you kill the Joker, like kill him, like you would prevent so many deaths. And he essentially says, like, it would be so easy for me to kill him. The easy thing is for me to kill him. The hard part is for me not to kill him and to put him into and put him through the justice system, and for me to and if I can in any way, shape, or form convert him, in the sense, like, change who Joker is, change him from this, like, this crazy person to not, then it would show everybody that what I'm doing is a good thing, and it would basically he would basically be like the golden example, like, all these criminals this is why I'm never killing, because I'm giving these guys a chance to like repent for their sins, essentially. So in those two different ways, it doesn't really work. But at least I would have gone with it more if they showed it, if they showed Batman, if they showed Joker beating the shit out of Robin with the crowbar. It would have been such a violent and scene that it would have got people like, I know why he's killing them, and you know what, I'm going with it. And anyways, back to why he didn't like Superman. He says if there's a 1% chance Superman can destroy the world, we have to take that as an absolute certainty and as him as an enemy. Well, guess what? That's like Lex Luthor's logic. That's what Lex Luthor, like in the comics, says. That's one of the reasons he doesn't like Superman, is because he's so powerful. At any point, he can turn against the world, and no one can be able to stop him. So why are you giving Lex Luthor's logic to Batman? It doesn't, like, give us a reason why. That wasn't really Batman's kind of thing. And Batman, especially, like, I grew up watching the animated series, and in that series, he's very pretty compassionate. I know he beats up people, but he's compassionate because he doesn't just jump to conclusions. One of his nicknames is the world's greatest detective. He's a detective, right? He doesn't judge a book by its cover, right? He evaluates things. He's very logical, he's very just. So he doesn't. So, and really, in hindsight, he wouldn't really judge Superman for what he did. He would look more into it and try to figure out if there's more than meets the eye. Like, so that's why I don't think this was really a Batman. I think this is a guy named Batman that happens to live in a city named Gotham, but I don't think he's like a legit Batman. He doesn't carry the spirit, and I don't think that's what and I don't think Zack Snyder is very good at grabbing the spirit of what a character is. And sorry for me ranting so much about Batman, but he was like literally my favorite superhero when I was growing up, and I really love him, and I really want to see an honest portrayal of him, but that's just me as like a kind of a fanboy ranting. So sorry about that.
No, I do agree with that. The whole gun scene kind of did throw me off when he was playing with guns, because in the second one or the first one, he makes a whole thing, I don't use guns. So that was a bit unexpected. The whole movie, I was kind of confused on like why was he using guns the entire time? He doesn't use guns. I mean, once they showed the whole Robin suit, that was kind of okay. That explains a bit of it, but that's not who he that's not how Batman does stuff, I
guess. Yeah, he doesn't use guns at all. Like he I mean, I describe him like like a guy that uses just what are they called? The crap, I forgot the Batman shaped things that he throws, the Batarangs.
Yeah,
there we go. He's a guy that throws Batarangs, and they're different types. There's ones that explode. There's one that like electrically shock you. There's a variety of things. He's really clever in the ways he figures out to defeat an enemy without actually using a gun, and that's why he's not just a guy that beats up people. He's not like just a physical guy, because I don't really think even in the comics he's that big. He's like the only comic that I can think of that he was really like a big muscular guy was in the movie not the movie, but the comic book, The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller, where he was an older 55-year-old Batman, and he was a lot bigger. But really, in all the other comics, he's not the biggest guy. I mean, he's strong and stuff, but he's not the biggest, and he's really clever in how to figure out, and he's really agile and quick, kind of like in the Dark Knight movie trilogy. He was really like that kind of stealth ninja type. That's really what he is, That's really what he does. That's why he throws smoke bombs and everything goes dark, and that's why he scares the shit out of criminals, because he's a guy that can essentially fight in the dark, and you can't fight in the dark. You can't see him, but he's gonna see you in the dark, and he's gonna get you. And that's one of the scary parts about him. Like, whatever you're doing in the dark, he's gonna see it. If you're a criminal, whatever, he's gonna see you in the dark, and that's what puts fear in his enemies. And so yeah, I didn't really think they did a good portrayal of him, like an honest portrayal. I just think it was like fan fiction, essentially. Like, this is just some crazy Batman that kills people. But
I mean, one of his whole I guess one of her whole fighting scene where he was just killing people was Dreamwise. So
the post-apocalypse, yeah.
So that was just a dream one. So I mean, you can't. That was one of those things that happened future-wise. So I mean,
yeah, but let's talk about that real quick. So he has a dream. So he has a dream about him trying to get a weapon to destroy Superman, and this post-apocalyptic world where Superman took over, and it turns out to be a trap, and he's beating everybody up, and they're killing his comrades, and they end up taking him out, and Superman comes, unmasks him, just kills Batman's comrades, and then he wakes up from that. Okay, he wakes up, and then there's a time traveling Flash that tells him, you were right about him. Lois is a key, and then he wakes up. So
yeah, that was confusing.
So it was a dream within a dream. And where the second dream, or I guess the first dream in this, or I don't know how to say it, but the dream with the Flash, somehow he never knew who Flash was. He was never met him up to this point, but he was able to dream about him, and able to dream about this time traveling, which they never set up time traveling in this movie. They just kind of just put it out there, like, oh, by the way, there's time traveling. So I don't know. What did you think of the whole scene? I thought it was very weird.
Yeah, it was a little bit confusing though, when the whole scene happens, because I was really on it, because I went to a quick trip to a bathroom, because before the movie I had a big I went to Starbucks and had like a venti coffee, like just dark coffee, so I could be like wired for the whole movie. And yeah, big mistake because I was going to a bathroom nonstop. So I went to a bathroom, and when I came back, I was out. I saw that whole scene, and that was a little bit unexpected and confused of what happened though, because I don't know where he just this whole thing like unveiling a bunch of people killing each other. Superman has conquered the world, and then it turns out to be a dream, and then he wakes up, and then it turns out it's still a dream. So that was unexpected, and yeah, it was a little weird. Like he never met Flash though, so how did he dream of him?
Yeah, that was really weird, and yeah, and yeah, that whole scene, the whole thing. I mean, you could literally cut that out, and it wouldn't affect the movie. So I don't know why they kept it in, unless they're just trying to set up hinting at something else. But
Yeah, maybe that was the whole point.
okay,
But
yeah, but I wish they would just give us a little more than just that. Like, and why do you have to make it a dream within a dream? Why can't you just have him waking up from the post-apocalypse dream, then have that flash stuff happen, and then him see the whole like, oh, the decoding has been done or the decryption. You know, that would still work. I don't know why he had to wake up again
I
the
feel like
second time.
I feel like there were way too many hints in the movie though. They were hinting to something else. And if you
Yeah,
were not a comic book fan, you probably were not caught a lot of the stuff though.
yeah, and
What
oh, go ahead.
another big problem that I have with the movie, well, I guess this was my main thing though, is that they should have made this rated R movie though.
Oh, and gone darker than they did.
This got a bit darker though. Yeah, I mean the whole scene where you explain the Joker kills Robin, and a PG-13 wouldn't fly through, but a rated R movie that will fly through it. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're kind of like trying to make these movies for kids. They're marketing for kids, but a lot of those kids that grew up reading this comic are kind of adults now. So there's, I mean, I guess what they're trying to do is like just market these movies for kids, for the new generation to get into superheroes and comic book and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they cannot forget that a lot of the older generation who grew up with those comics books or with the original movies or with the original cartoons or the first cartoons, they're kind of in the 20s, 30s, so they prefer to see something darker.
Mm-hmm.
Just a bit, darker though, because I feel like they would have done a lot more if they weren't rated R. I mean, for once we can see Amy Adams' boobs, that's for sure though.
Nah, I don't think they would have done that. That would have gone too far. I mean, they didn't even do that. They didn't even do that in Deadpool, you know.
They did.
They didn't show boobs in that movie.
I'm pretty sure they did.
No, they showed a penis, but they didn't show any boobs.
Did they?
Yeah.
No, I'm curious. No, I'm
Remember,
curious.
there was a scene where at the end Colossus is fighting I forget who she was.
I do remember that.
And yeah, but before that there was okay. Actually, there was like side boob from when the sex scenes between Deadpool and his girlfriend, Copycat.
Uh-huh.
I don't. Yeah. So there was that. There was that, but there wasn't like full. You know, there wasn't direct boob. You know, and
there was partial nudity.
Yeah, there partial nudity. But which is kind of funny though, because a Deadpool movie, you think in it, Deadpool's such a character that you would figure it doesn't seem like out of the realm that instead of seeing a boob, you see a penis in that movie. It's just like it just seems like such a Deadpool thing. Can you hear me? You doing all right over there, Edgar? Yo, Edgar. Oh, I think we lost Edgar now. Edgar, can you hear me? Okay, I think Edgar's going through some technical difficulties. So I'll keep talking about the movie. I'll talk about Henry Cavill, I think, or Cavill, I think. He played Superman. So he played Superman, and I thought actually he was
Alex.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now. Sorry, my internet just kind of went a little crazy.
Okay, cool. So, what'd you think of Henry Cavill Superman?
Um, I don't have too much to say about that. He was okay. I don't have anything big deal about it. I think he portrayed it properly.
I thought he was actually. I thought he was worse. I thought he did better in Man of Steel than he did here, mainly because I thought some of his line deliveries are off. I don't think his line deliveries are all that great at certain points of the movie. Also, like uh, I don't think they got the spirit of this Superman either. Because Superman, he's pretty smart and I don't think he's as smart as Batman, but that's neither here nor there. But or well, actually, it is. I don't think he's as smart as Batman, or as clever as figure out ways not to kill people. But he's more clever in figuring out how in ways of how to get people out of danger. And I don't think he really did that. I mean, okay, so let's get to it. So when Lex Luthor tells him you have to kill Batman to save your mother, why couldn't Superman just use his super hearing like he does with Lois throughout the movie and just find
And
her?
Piner, yeah.
I didn't really get that. I was like, what? Like, dude, just use your superpowers and then destroy them. It's not like you're super fast, so technically he had a better chance of saving his mom than Batman did, because Batman has to be more stealth. Which he in the actually how the scene played out, he wasn't too stealth. He was just kind of like a big ass bully that just beat the shit out of people.
He went
And
Rambo style basically.
yeah, basically Rambo style. I mean, he did have the stealth scene where he kind of comes out of the underneath the floor, but that was still wasn't that
But I mean,
stealthy.
his shoots the flamethrower. Like, let's just go. Like, let's see how this plays out.
Yeah,
Kind of style. He's like, fuck it, let's just go. Let's just shoot the flamethrower and let's see what happens here.
yeah.
That
Where
wasn't too smart to do it.
yeah, whereas Superman could have just like easily just he just gone like he's basically as fast as the Flash, so he could have easily zipped in and out and just and punched all of them and then grabbed his mother, and that would have been it. So I don't know. So he in the movie he's not that smart, um, and I really wish when he was in the Washington D.C. when he was gonna talk to the like the 4 or 5 senators. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the whole bomb scene.
Yeah, the whole bomb scene. I wish they would have done they would have given us at least like 5 minutes of him debating his point why he doesn't have to answer to the government. Like I want to know why he doesn't have to, because he seemed pretty okay with him not having to do it, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
he
so
showed up. He went there to show explanations. Yeah, that was a little thing they should have done. Just hint us or let us see his point of view, because the whole movie was basically Batman's point of view.
yeah, it was more of a Batman movie than a Superman movie, but it was supposed to be the sequel to Man of Steel, so it was like kind of it was kind of clashing in that way. So I wish they would have gave us more Superman and showed us why, showed us his why he thought the way he did. Because I mean, I think that would have been a great debate between him and the 5 senators, or just him and that one senator, the lady. It would have been a great debate just to have and go back and forth, and it would have been very intellectual, I thought. But they didn't go there at all. They just blew it up. So
Yeah, they just blew it up right away. So
I was like,
kind of
okay,
didn't.
so on to the next thing. Wait, okay, so okay, now on to I think the biggest controversy of them all. How do you feel about Lex Luthor, or James? I don't remember his name, but James something.
I liked him.
Oh, really?
I did like him. At first, though, he was really full of energy. I kind of did enjoy that whole the perspective where he was just like super happy, kind of like the the Silicon guys that said the whole tech industry.
Mm-hmm.
They made it
Oh,
like they
like
made
the
it like
startup playing
yeah.
basketball.
They made him like the new they made the company seems like the new like a startup
Like Google, right?
like
Almost.
Google, like Apple, like all those companies, very techy, very modern, very like just poaching a lot of like young tech guys and go work with them. They seem super they kind of knew how to approach it for how to display it to be like this unique, awesome company where when you see I mean the not Batman, the Wayne's Industries, they're more of a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see how they like everyone is like older people, business suits,
Yeah.
all over the place. Like, and this one, there was just a bunch of kids, didn't know what they're doing, messing around, playing basketball. Come here to my office. Oh, it's the front lobby, so everyone knows what I'm doing. I'm like, I'm the cool boss who just everyone wants to approach and just be super cool. Because I mean, in some of the comics, Lex Luthor is kind of like, I mean, I correct me if I'm wrong, but he doesn't he run for president or he becomes president at one point?
Yeah. He becomes
So
president.
so like that's kind of like, I feel like they were trying to seem like him more of a, your average man kind of guy, like your normal human being, I guess, not
Yeah, but
trying to.
this I just thought of something. I thought of a big plot hole right now that I just thought about it when you were describing how they were doing Lex Luthor in the beginning. Was what kind of startup company is in the weapons industry? Because isn't LexCorp a weapons place or
It's
something?
it's kind of like, yeah, it is, but then they're also like, I feel like weapons is not their front thing.
Yeah, it's like
It's kind of it's kind of more like a tech company, like, it does, this is the main thing, but they do other stuff.
so they dabble in weapons. Okay, I just never heard
Exactly.
of a tech company doing
It
or
seems like,
a startup.
yeah, it seems like, well, it doesn't seem like a startup. If you remember, he mentioned that his dad founded that company like so long
Oh
ago,
yeah.
but they made it look that whole startup scene, and
Oh, okay.
they made it look like once when he said like, yeah, that was my father's name, just call me Lex. And he started doing he started just playing basketball, and his whole like giving people Jolly Ranchers, and like, yeah, come into my office. It's in front of that phone lobby. Like, I'm not I kind of say like, I'm not my dad. I'm a cool boss. I'm like, I'm young. I know what I'm doing. Like, I know how young people think. Kind of whole scene, which it kind of
Yeah,
looked pretty cool. Like, I feel like their workers there will be super cool about it. Like,
they'd be like the happiest workers of
yeah,
ever, right?
they might be like super happy workers because they're like, we have all this cool privilege, and then, I mean, there's a basketball arena in front of the lobby, and
Dude,
it kind of had this whole new generation techie guys portraying to the company, which I thought it was pretty cool. That's kind of why I did like the character. He was so upbeat and so kind of clever, especially when he did his speech. Like, he didn't have anything prepared. He just started like mumbling on.
yeah, I mean, okay, that now that you describe him more like that, I find him more funny and more fun. So I
Yeah,
like him more. um okay, so before I get to why okay, just to full disclosure, I didn't really like him. Well, I didn't really like the character. I'll give it that way. But let's talk about something before that. Before I start talking about that, what do you think about the Jolly Rancher scene where he puts the Jolly Rancher in the guy's mouth, the senator's mouth?
I mean, I thought it was funny. If I'm able to do it and get away with it, I probably would do it too.
but don't you usually do that if you're forcing someone to do something to you, right? Or forcing
Yeah,
someone to do something?
that's kind of that whole thing though. He was showing that he had a, like,
But
he
the
didn't have any option basically when he was doing it.
guy told him already. Like before that, the guy was like, "What do you need?" And he's like, "Zod's body. What else do you need? Access to the thing." And he's like, "Okay." And then he's like, "You want a Jolly Rancher? It's cherry." Bloop.
It's kind of like he was doing this whole thing like, I'm gonna wine you, dine you, and 69 you. Like, it's kind of happens. Like, just like, I feel
So
like he was trying to do that. Like, say, like, before you agree to it, let me do this to you first. Like, before you agree to it, I'm gonna buy you a nice dinner, and then we're gonna talk about it, and you're gonna say yes to it because you're not gonna say no to it. It feels like it gave me that whole scenario where he was just showing power that he already knew he had, but he was just demonstrating it.
okay, what?
He was just being more of like, I know you're gonna say yes, and you say yes already, but let me just, you're not gonna say no. He was just kind of
Let me just
over.
go through my thing.
Yeah, he's like, he was just kind of overstepping his whole power dominance there.
Yeah, that okay. Let me wind down in 69 years. That
Yeah,
describes him perfectly.
that's kind of what he was trying to do though. Like, I know you're gonna say yes, but let me go through my whole games and everything.
Oh my god. Okay, so let me go into why I didn't like the character. This is again another gonna be kind of a fanboy rant, but I didn't like his character because Lex Luthor, at least in this TV show, in the Justice League TV show, in the Superman anime series, he wasn't crazy necessarily. He was more like he had like well, basically he had Batman's logic.
Yeah,
That Batman had
that.
in this movie.
Let me interrupt you in a second for that one. Yeah, that's another thing that I do remember from Lex Luthor. He was more of a. In this one, they portray him a little bit
Crazy, right?
hyperactive. I guess hyperactive at first.
Hmm.
He started super hyperactive, and I didn't like how they did that. How they were just because how I remember he was in his mid. Well, first of all, I thought Lex Luthor was gonna be here older because from what I remember, he's always in his mid 30s.
Yeah, like same
I
age
guess
as Superman.
yeah, I guess maybe this is why he was this way because he was a younger version of him.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
Maybe that was the whole reason he was a younger version of him, and after he goes to jail and Chevy said he becomes more of a serious kind of type of guy.
Oh, so this is like an origins to Lex Luthor essentially.
I don't know. It
I
seemed that
can
way
kind of
though.
see that. I can kind of see that. Okay, you kind of make me soften on the character at least, or at least
Yeah,
on his on him.
because at first I was like, well, this is not the Lex Luthor I remember though. He was always like, for one, he was bald or shaved his head, and he was more of a power figure. I mean, for
And he
God's
was,
sake, he was kind
he
of
was
president of one. So
I mean, yeah, he was smart. He was like he had like this kind of charming quality to him, and he wasn't he never like in the TV show. You never thought he's like straight up crazy, right? He just thought
yeah,
like this guy's smart and he has a plan to he has like a plan to a plan. He has he sees he sees the way he wants things to go out, and he has a plan. But this guy just seemed like totally crazy because he kept talking about God, and he's like the red capes are coming, and he kept talking like in this weird riddle style kind of thing where he
yeah,
said sentences, but they were more riddles than anything. So it was like, it was like this kind of like I guess really intellectual thing that didn't seem like Lex in a sense. It seemed more like he seemed more like a philosopher than anything. You know what I mean?
yeah. I guess he was kind of like say hyperactive. He was all over the place.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
you can tell
describes
by
it perfectly.
his whole sentence, his whole speech scenario where he was trying to um when he was trying to like give a speech and he was always mumbling and like saying that no I might want to say this like no never mind like he didn't seem like he had a plan. He was just like, oh, let's see how this goes.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he might have had a plan, but he was just playing it. He didn't have a plan, so that was kind of frustrating. But when after he goes to jail and towards the end of the movie, he becomes more of a serious character.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can tell that he's just like all his like little games that he was doing, all the little funny things. He was just completely changed.
Yeah, he like in a sense he's basically snapped, which was
Exactly.
okay. Which is okay, but yeah, and I know I'm saying like this guy was like a guy that had like the guy in the anime series seemed like a guy that had a plan after a plan after a plan. Like he had all these plans, and
Mm-hmm.
he had like a big overarching kind of vision, and this guy kind of did where he basically knew who Bruce Wayne was and he knew who Superman was, but I just want to see him like show us that again. Don't tell us that or don't hint that he kind of knows who these guys are. Like show us, like that's why like I mean in kindergarten or wherever preschool they did show and tell, right? Show and then tell. So why don't you show us and then tell us, or something like show us how he figured this stuff out. Don't just and show us more about how he was really playing Batman and Superman this whole time, but they kind of really did that at the end, and they didn't. You know how like in movies and in movies how they like at the end they do the twist and then they go back and kind of show you like flashbacks of how this one character kind of was controlling everything. I wish they
Mm-hmm.
would have done that with Lex Luthor. I wish they would have like after you figured out he really knew who Batman was and he really knew who Superman was. I wish they would have like gone back and showed us how he figured that out because it would have been like, oh, okay, this guy's really smart. Like, oh, this is a really clever way how he figured it out or something, like instead of just like, oh well, I think he kind of knows who he is, and I kind of think and I know he definitely knows who Superman is because he kidnapped his mom. But like just I mean, yeah, like they just crammed so much into this movie that that they weren't really able to delve into each character appropriately. They were just kind of like here's a guy, here's another guy, here's another guy, and here's another guy. Now let's all fight or something, you know?
Yeah, yeah, he was. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, and I think what this movie has going for it is, one, they have Zack Snyder, who's a good director. You know, he's not a bad director, but I think at the same time he doesn't capture the spirits of characters, and because of that, I think that's why I didn't like the movie. But more than that, Zack Snyder, I think, appeals to a more general audience because he did movies like 300, where it was really the spectacular action movie, and a lot of people praised it for the way it looked and its action and stuff. And same thing with Watchmen. It was this really like nice looking movie that had some pretty good action scenes. But again, like in that movie, another comic book movie, he didn't really capture the essence of those characters, the spirit of those characters. So, but so he can direct action. He can make a movie look really nice, and I think that's why the movie's so successful. Besides the name, I think the name has a lot to do with it. But more than that, when Superman and Batman fight, it's a pretty cool fight. When Batman's fighting those guys, saving Superman's bomb, it's a great action scene. He's like, I mean, he's like beating the crap out of people. He's doing the rock bottom. He's doing a bunch of crazy stuff. And then when Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman are fighting Doomsday, it's a really great action scene, and you know, like, it looks all great. So I think that's how it appeals to mass audience, because finally at the end of the movie, you get the movie that everybody was wanting, and that's kind of clever, because by the end of the movie, people that aren't really too big on comics and don't really care about like the spirit of characters and stuff, at the end of the movies they get what they came for, and they're leaving with that final impression, like, oh shit, this was like awesome at the end, like these were great action scenes. And then they completely forget about the last 2 hours of the movie, really. And then they say, oh, it was a really good movie, I'm gonna go watch it again. Or they tell their friends like, oh, it's a good movie, dude, you gotta watch it. They're fighting and all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I feel like that's one of the reasons the movie's so successful. And I think it's kind of a really clever thing to do, like you know, like really what you remember about the movie is the last thing you see, and the last thing you see is really the fighting. And it's like, it goes on for a good chunk, like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, you know, like in total, with Batman fighting, with Batman and Superman fighting, with Batman fighting those taking out those goons, and then with all three of them fighting Doomsday. It really is like 30, 45 minutes of the movie. So, you know, so it's a big chunk of it. So or like a pretty big chunk. It's a good chunk that you'll remember most of that than the last 2 hours or hour and 45 minutes. So I think, is there anything else you want to say about the movie that we didn't touch on?
No, actually, I think we covered everything we needed to say.
Cool. So would you recommend this movie?
That's a good question, though. I mean, I would I guess I probably would recommend it just to watch it, but it was one of those movies that you probably won't watch twice.
Oh, okay.
That's how I feel about it. Like, yeah, I mean, I watch it. Like I said, I feel like weird about it because I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know if I liked it, I don't know if I dislike it. So I was just like, I mean, yeah, sure, I'll recommend they go watch it. It has some good parts to it, but it's one of those movies that I probably won't watch a second time.
In theaters or like ever?
In theaters.
Okay.
And when it comes to Netflix, I'll watch it once and then just there.
Cool. Which is kind of funny because I feel like this movie, you have to watch it more than once to get everything, you know, to soak up all the information they're giving you, and like you said, to catch all those hints that they're hinting at.
I mean, I won't watch it in theaters again. If it wants to come out on Netflix, yeah, I'll probably will watch it again and see what happens and catch those small details. But in theaters, I'm not gonna pay another $10 to go watch it.
Yeah, I paid 13, and I kind of regret it. I wish I would have spent that money on an Amiibo instead, but oh well. I mean, I still I still enjoyed the movie, but I didn't think it was that great. You know, that
It's
wasn't
like
what I expected.
this movie is. I mean, what I do recommend is don't watch it in 3D because this movie is not worth the 3D.
Oh, you watched it in 3D?
I didn't watch it though, but
Oh,
I wanted to watch this in 3D. But
oh,
it turns out that I went to watch it in 3D, but the line was really big. And when I managed to get into the front of the line, it was like 15 minutes into the movie. So I just got the next show, which was it was a normal, it was in a 3D version. So now I'm kind
Mhm.
of glad I didn't spend the extra $5 for the 3D version.
Oh, okay.
It's like $5 more for 3D or something like that. It's
Yeah, it's pretty much $5 more. I think it's like that, 5, 6.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm kind of glad I didn't spend the 3D. I didn't see it in 3D. I feel like I would regret watching it if I saw that if I watch it in 3D.
Yeah, I feel like 3D movies are, to be honest, I don't really, I would only watch a 3D movie like after I've seen the movie in 2D, because I don't really want to watch the movie like my first appearance to any movie. I don't want to watch in 3D because the glasses are kind of annoying to wear, and sometimes they pinch your nose a lot. And I mean that's happened to me, so it got really annoying and distracting. So I rather do that in the second time I watch a movie, just because at least then I know what's happening. And if I miss a little thing because I'm distracted by it, it's not a big deal because I've already seen it once. But that's only if a movie is worth it, like Star Wars. I watched that like 3 times.
Yeah, I mean that's a like if I'm like super hyped for a movie to watch it, I'll watch it in 3D. But sometimes I always like when it came Godzilla, I saw Godzilla in 3D. I was super hyped to watch it in 3D, and then once I saw, it, I was like, man, this was not worth a 3D.
Yeah. So I would say I don't know. I recommend buying this movie on Blu-ray, but only if it's $10 or less. I wouldn't pay full price for this for when it comes out on Blu-ray. For one, because I don't think it's worth the $20 or $30 now. Blu-rays are nowadays are worth between 30 and 20. I would definitely buy this when it's $10 or less. But I wouldn't watch it again in theaters. And I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't pay full price for the Blu-ray at least. But overall, I thought it was like a fine movie. I wish I liked it more. I wish it stuck more to the characters. But you know what? It's their vision. They want to do what they want to do with it. So
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. And when the next movie comes out, I think I'll like that more because I'll be more. I'll know what I'm getting into. So I'll be like, okay, I know what kind of Batman I'm getting. So I'll go with it. Um, and and actually, so you know how you wanted this movie to be rated R. When it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray,
yeah,
it's gonna it's gonna get a rated R cut.
I heard about that. I was hoping they do that for theaters too, but shame.
Yeah, I think I don't know how much money would have they lost out because it's PG-13. I think they probably would have lost out on quite a bit of money if it was rated R, because then
Yeah, yeah,
no one
probably.
between 13 and 17 can watch it. So it's
Yeah,
like,
and when I went to watch it, it was so many little kids. I guess one of the reasons is that I don't want to deal with little kids, because dude,
Mm,
it's I mean it was 8 o'clock. I mean yeah, it was sort of doing break, but they came families with their like newborns to watch the movie,
wow.
and it's this is my thought: if you can't afford a theater, you can't afford the movies. It's true though. I mean, luckily the kid like slept through the entire movie, but what were they expecting? Like what? It was super. I don't even know if that's like you know good for the baby though. It was super loud.
Oh my God, it was
It
so
was like
loud.
yeah, it was super loud, and there were so many explosions and stuff. And I mean, the parents. I think the parents they just want to watch the movie because it was like, I think the oldest kid was like 7, and everyone
Ooh.
else was 5. When the 2 years was like 6 months to like 7 years old, and there were like 5 kids. So
Fuck.
the only one who appreciated was a 7-year old, and the other ones that probably didn't appreciate it. I mean, the newborn. You think the newborn appreciated it? It just makes. Luckily, he didn't cry anything like that, and there were a lot of other little kids around, but it was just annoying though. I just don't like watching it. I mean, if the kids are like 7 years old, something like that, yeah, they're gonna appreciate the movie and watch it. But when they're like that young, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna start going to 21 and over theaters.
There's those
You,
kind of theaters?
there's this kind
What?
of theater. Yeah, there's one in San Jose, I believe, and
But
yeah,
they
they have
only show
beer.
rated R movies, right?
No, they have all the other movies. They have like the thing PG-13 and all those movies and everything. But the thing is, it's 21 over because they sell beer.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
they have like they have like the big recliner seats, and I think it's a bit extra, just a little tiny extra. But there's no little kids for sure. That's for once,
That's
and
pretty
it's all
clever.
adults, and you can get like adult beverages while you're watching it.
You know, if you really want to, if you, well, I mean, that sounds pretty good for you because you like to drink beer and stuff. For me, the solution I found is I wait about 2 weeks and then I go watch the movie on a Saturday at like the earliest show, so 10 or 11 a.m. and there's nobody there.
Yeah,
So
that's a
I
nice way
dodge
to do it though. But
everybody.
I don't like to wait that long. If I really want to watch a movie, I don't want to be that long because I'm always on Reddit and there's always spoilers, and I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, that's the
so
worst.
that's the thing.
All right. So let's move on to the last thing we have today is the helpful hint. And I think it is my turn. Did you go
It's your
last
turn.
time?
Yeah, I
Okay, it's
believe I
my
went
turn.
last time.
The helpful hint for UC Merced and for UC Merced in this case, it would be, well, actually in general. Um, so I really don't have one, but let me see if I can think of one really quickly. Let's see. Oh, okay. So if you're gonna move in with people, to like usually when you after your first 2 years, if you live in the dorms for a year or two, you usually get an apartment or a house with friends. Make sure that the people you live with are you make sure you know what you're getting into in the sense that you're gonna get into fights with them, you're gonna get angry at them, and make sure that you're in the mentality that you're gonna have to talk things out with them because let me tell you, if you live with people, you're gonna deal with a lot of crap, and you're really gonna get to know them, whether they don't clean after themselves or all that stuff. So make sure you're ready, you're completely ready for that, and you're ready to talk things out with them, and make sure you guys clear the air whenever something comes up, because you don't want to have those awkward times or weeks where you guys aren't talking to each other because you guys are mad because someone didn't clean the dishes or whatever kind of thing. Just make sure you talk things out, and
I would say make sure everyone's in the lease
yeah, make sure everybody's on the lease, and make
because you can
sure
avoid a lot of troubles if everyone's at the lease.
yeah, make sure. And if you feel like you can't handle that, then I would say like just get a single apartment if you can afford it, a one bedroom
Studio would be
apartment,
better.
just live by yourself, or a studio. Yeah, if you can afford that, do it because you're gonna save yourself a lot of trouble if you know that you're the type of person that can't handle confrontation or doesn't like to handle confrontation. Just do that. It'll save you so much trouble. And and be prepared to, yeah, like I said, be prepared to get into fights, be prepared to do a lot of stuff that you're not expecting to. Be prepared to deal with a lot of crap, and just be prepared for that. And I know for a lot of things you can't prepare, but just have the mindset that you'll be ready to deal with it whenever it comes up, and deal with it appropriately. You won't overreact. You won't overreact, and you'll handle it in a pretty calm demeanor. Try to do that. I think that's the best way to handle when you're living with friends and stuff, because you're really gonna get to know them and every side of them. So those are my helpful hints for this week, and hopefully we see you guys next week. And we don't know what our next week's topic is, but once we find out, I'll tweet it out. So, Edgar, any last words?
No. Good.
Okay.
I see you guys next week then.
See you guys next week. Goodbye.